This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, Pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, even if you're chilling at home watching us live on YouTube. Shout out to all my Instagrammers as well. Hamad, Mariu, Maria, Megan, Iber, T, Fahad, the other Fahad, Taimur, and Eve tuned in right now. Okay, so the other day, the show was buzzing. Oh my God, the amount of comments we were getting through on the Naomi Osaka situation about her mental health, whether she's going to stay, whether she's going to go, the press conferences. Well, if you haven't heard, stay tuned for more. We're going to let you know exactly what's been happening since our last show. Now, every now and then I like to touch on a sports documentary just to keep you motivated, see how you guys are feeling, something worth watching. The last one was on basketball. This one is on a legend from the Italian game. Can you guess who that is? Very, very famous for a specific type of hairstyle that he has. But his career was full of things to talk about. So we're going to talk about his documentary today. It's more like a movie as Maria calls it, a docu-movie. It's more of a docu-movie, which we're going to be talking about today, and whether it's worth watching. Cricket is huge in the UAE. And what I like about the UAE is it breeds a lot of talent. Now, one of the people that have benefited a lot from this is the GF Forces Gladiators. If you don't know who that is, stay tuned for more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Thank you very much for tuning in, and shout out to everyone who is locked in on 95 FM in the heart of Sharjah. Okay, right. So the other day we had a really good show, and one of the main segments actually of that show was the Naomi Osaka situation. At that stage, for those that don't know, Naomi Osaka, ranked 2 in the world, she should be ranked number 1, was under scrutiny for not attending the press conferences, which a lot of people feel she's obliged to do at tournaments. Now, the reason why she wasn't attending that is because it was affecting her mental health, and she didn't want to be thrown off her tournament. Now, after not attending on Sunday, she got fined $15,000. Upon this stage, it became headlines all over. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone's going crazy about it. So people were like, oh my God, Naomi Osaka, she's not doing her media obligations. Being fined by the federation for not doing that, it started to cause a stir. Now, some people were saying that, you know, it's part of her job, she should do it. Then you consider her age. She's in her early 20s. She's obviously had, a lot of experiences that have caused her to feel uncomfortable in speaking publicly. Now, I was having this chat with Maria the other day, and some people might feel just get on with it, and you're paid a lot of money and sponsorships, and you got it in your contract and so many different things. But since then, what's been happening is she's withdrawn from the French Open, the Roland Garros, and she doesn't want to be part of that, and we don't know how long she'll be taking a break for. But for those that know, Wimbledon is coming up soon, and Wimbledon is, I'm not saying this because I'm from there, but Wimbledon is the biggest tournament in tennis. Everyone looks forward to that. It has a lot of history, a lot of culture, a lot of tradition behind it, and now people are asking if she's going to get involved. Now, since then, superstars like Mo Farah and Serena Williams have come out to back Naomi Osaka. However, it's how do you feel she's handled it? Do you feel that it was the right thing to do? Is there a right thing to do? And where do we draw the line? So now if other tennis stars, don't wish to talk and don't show up, has she been made an example out of? That's kind of what I'm talking about. Murad is saying she suffers from anxiety in front of the media, but the media doesn't care. Okay, interesting. I think, you know what, Murad, I know Fahad agrees with you, but I think that the way the situation has panned out Had she been maybe from a different culture, a different race, would anyone, like you said, care much, or would anyone make a big deal out of it? Would she be fined that amount of money? You know, $15,000? In her statement, she said, I hope that goes to a mental health charity. If she had continued to stay in the tournament, would it have raised more awareness on mental health? Will people who aren't fans of tennis start to tune in? I think the fact that she's been taken out of it, or she's withdrawn out of it, has kind of left it unsolved, if that makes sense. A lot of people know her more now, but I don't think that was the purpose why she withdrew. I think genuinely she did have, you know, her battles when it came down to mental health. But I think that's the thing, you know, a lot of people face it differently, and a lot of people, you know, experience it differently. So I don't really think that there's a right or wrong. What I do think is, in the situation that she has found herself in, I think those that can support her. I also mentioned this on the show the other day, the role of her parents, the role of her coach. What roles do they play, and how have they been with her? You know, has she made her own decisions? Which I think when you're at that stage in your career and you're rated that highly, I think that's something that you would do. What are your thoughts on that? Text me on 4215 at Salat or do, or slide into my DMs during the commercials and the break, and let me know if you agree. Was it the right thing to do? Will that silence those people that criticized her, or the people that are out there to, you know, make her feel uncomfortable or kick her down kick her when she's down, as she mentioned in her statement? I'm kind of, for me, obviously I'd love to interview her, but for me, I'd love to ask her the questions that, what is it that caused her to feel, you know, where she had to withdraw herself? And also she was saying that she didn't want that kind of attention towards this tournament, so that's why she took herself out. But it's kind of one of those things where we look at and we think about, being bullied, or, you know, if you step down, then you're letting the bully win, and if you stand up to the bully, then you're standing for what you believe in. So I don't know if there is a winner in this situation. I think either way, both parties would have felt like, what happens next? And I think that is the huge thing. We posted it on our Pulse 95 Radio Instagram page as well, that segment, that small part, asking you guys what you thought. So head over there to our Instagram on Pulse 95 Radio and leave us your comments on the post regarding Naomi Osaka. All right, we're going to play some Burna Boy. Bank on it, it's going to be good. And we'll be right back after the break.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Yes, we are back. Welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. Listen, the comments, man. If I could read you all of this, we spend the whole segment. The comments from Maria, Shakib, Masoud, Fahad, Megan, some really, really good comments on the Naomi Osaka situation. A lot of people asking the questions about, was it right for her to step out, and is there some unfinished business, and when's the right time to come in? Well, there's a couple of things actually pointing to that I wanted you guys to allude to. So for those that don't know, Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams had a very controversial tennis match where the crowd were booing her, and Osaka scored the biggest win in her career, becoming the first Japanese player ever to win a Grand Slam title by beating Serena Williams 6-2, 6-4 at the US Open. It was an ugly win, and during her post-match interview, Williams took to the mic to calm a loud, angry, booing crowd. Now, it wasn't Naomi's fault for the booing. It was the referee who was making one or two calls that were quite controversial, and being Serena Williams, obviously she's a favorite, right? So I think this also has a big part to play in how it's kind of shaped Osaka's approach on dealing with the pressures, the crowd. When you win something and you still get booed, that can be traumatic. So I think that's one thing that a lot of people maybe are kind of underestimating, because sometimes, and I can speak from experience on this one. You can have, let's say you have a YouTube video up, okay? And you've got 10,000 or 40,000 likes, and then you have 15 dislikes, and people have actually taken time to press dislike. You wonder, why did I get those dislikes? Who has the time to go out of their way not to like something? There are people out there who have that kind of time and bring that kind of energy. So this is what I'm saying. Now, obviously, Naomi Osaka's on a much, much bigger level than any of this. But saying that, when you win a major tournament and you're still being booed, that could take its toll. And a lot of questions are now being asked on whether she will take part in Wimbledon and what's she going to do from now to then, because Wimbledon 2021 begins on the 28th, begins on the 28th of June. So that's not that far away. Now, in the meantime, has she stepped away from the French Open to be able to spend time on herself and speak to leaders and be able maybe to get herself in the right frame of mind for a tournament that is the biggest tennis tournament in the world? Some people were saying it's because of the surface she's playing on. I don't think it's that at all. If anything, you want the momentum into coming into that. But looking at that now in Wimbledon, that's going to be very interesting. She's got, 26 days? Yeah, 26 days to be able to get herself back into it. That's going to be very, very interesting. Let's see. I mean, watch this space. I'm sure we'll cover it here on the show. Right. Okay, so every now and then we like to drop in a sports documentary. And for all the fans out there and the listeners of sports, you sometimes need that documentary to get you motivated, whether it's going to the gym, going for a walk, or just getting involved in a team sport. The last one we spoke about was Cue Ball, which was really, really good, by the way. It was on Netflix. It's about basketball, but it had a twist to it. San Quentin basketball team were playing against people from the outside, but they were a prison team, and it was very interesting. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. The documentary today that we're going to be covering is the documentary of someone called Roberto Baggio. Now, some of you might have guessed it, like Fahad, who said that earlier. He said, it's definitely Roberto Baggio. Roberto Baggio is an athlete, or was an athlete that was a symbol not just for success. So I don't want to burn as Maria calls it, docu-movie. I don't want to burn the docu-movie for you, but it's very, very interesting how you live on this roller coaster with him when you watch this movie. It is, it's not what we all expect, in the sense that everyone talks about success stories and everyone talks about a lot of heartbreak and disappointment. This has a combination of both, and it makes you explore his life from the pressures of his family to the pressure of a nation. And when it comes down to it, love plays a huge role in this movie. So I would advise you to go and watch it. I definitely recommend it. You get happy with him, you get sad with him, you find out what he really wants and what he's really after. And, for those that know, he's been to the World Cup, obviously, a couple of times. He's gone through so much mentally and physically and emotionally. And he's very spiritual as well. See, we talk about mental fitness, we talk about physical fitness, we talk about emotional fitness, but the spirituality in, Roberto Baggio's documentary is something I definitely feel you should check out. Very, very cool. It's on Netflix. Check out the Roberto Baggio documentary. There's a lot of realism in there as well. Sometimes you see them maybe overdo it or overcook it when it comes down to, athletes and all that. This is very real. So yeah, make sure you check out the Roberto Baggio documentary. That's the sports documentary watch on the Halftime Show. Got a few comments coming in. I think that people still talking about the Naomi Osaka segment. Whether it's psychological or physiological health, it's always about health, and that should be the first priority. Absolutely. Masoud Almas is saying people are treating mental health as being different from a physical injury. It's not. Absolutely, we agree. Shakib says Sir Alex, I'm guessing Sir Alex Ferguson, Never Give In has just come out. You definitely will enjoy it. What is it out on, Shakib? Let us know. And Mohammed Abush said, I watched half of it. You know what's funny, Mohammed? I watched half of it as well. I was really tired. And then the next day we watched the second part, and then we had a last part to watch as well yesterday, which we finished, which was really good. Who else we got here? We've got being Omar's here. We've got Mustafa's in the building. And when is your documentary out, sir? Definitely not doing a documentary. Sir Alex, only out in the UK. Right, so let us know, actually. Let us know. Definitely we'll watch it and then preview it on the show. I mean, the the standards are high. We looked at cue ball. That was really, really good on the basketball front, especially with prisons and inmates. And then we saw the Roberto Baggio one. So let me know what's worth watching. And if the Sir Alex Ferguson one is out, let me know where I can watch it, and I'll definitely review it for you guys on the show. And by the way, George Best one came out as well the other day when the Europa League final was out. So yeah, let me know. Okay, right, we're going to play you some Mike Lowry, Liverpool in the building, representing, and we'll be right back. We're talking about the G-Force Gladiators in cricket who won the GCC Cricket World Cup. Enjoy, folks.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam, welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Thank you very much for tuning in. And listen, a lot of comments still coming in, by the way, about Naomi Osaka, which it's funny. I'm glad that people are still talking about it, to be very honest. I wasn't thinking after the segment the other day that we would be in the situation that we are by her withdrawing, etc. So many things. Florin, shout out to Florin as well, who's tuned in from the UK and seen his mum for the first time in 2 years as well. Wowzers. Okay, great. Now, cricket is something huge in the UAE. Massive. One thing I really like about the UAE is it breeds a lot of talent from different walks of life, but it's even better when they start them young. And the G-Force Gladiators, what a cool name, won the GCC Cricket World Cup, Cricket Cup under 14 and under 16 titles at the Vision Cricket Ground here in Sharjah. 4 teams, including 2 from Bahrain, took part in the 30 overs aside event built to give budding players an opportunity to improve their skills. And the tournament was organized by G-Force Sports Services and High Performance Cricket Academy. Bahrain saw the final matches on May the 21st in Sharjah. Really happy to see this, especially that, sports like cricket are huge here. How many times have you driven past and seen people just playing outside, whether it's hot, in the scorching heat, whether it's humid? A lot of people, love this sport. And I brought someone on last year, Sadiq Muhammad, who organizes, a lot of games and tournaments for everyone in the community all around the UAE, in Sharjah, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. And I brought him on and I asked him, what's the motivation behind doing this? And he said, I've been doing it for such a long time. It's just something that's great to have. And I thought, that's just so nice. I organize a game once a week or twice a week, and that's a headache. Doing it all the time. Hats off to you. A lot goes behind it. Cancellations, trying to sort out the right teams, trying to get people having fun, staying active, being healthy. So when I see things like this in the GCC, cricket, I'm very happy that Sharjah are taking that kind of initiative as well and doing great things for the community. Because you know what will happen? One of these, kids that is just practicing with friends and family is going to be the next star. It talks about a lot, when it comes down to doing something healthy and positive. People can get into bad habits. People can get into the wrong crowd. People can do things they're not supposed to be doing. But when you start them young and you allow kids to enjoy sports and get competitive and build their characters, I think that's fantastic, man. So hats off to the GF Forces Gladiators, cool name, man, that won the GCC Cricket Cup title in Sharjah. Here's something else as well, and I know people, are talking about opportunity and being seen and scouted. There's always someone that might know someone, and I think when someone stays true to their roots and actually plays to their strengths, sometimes you could be discovered. We all like hearing that kind of story and people exploring different options. But things like cricket and in the UAE is huge. Obviously looking at the population, looking at the backgrounds and the cultures and where people are from, you get to see it's just in their blood sometimes. I watch sometimes playing football. I'm watching someone before us play and people are really into it, and then when we're done, people are warming up, and it's just a consistent cycle. Now in Sharjah, it's the same thing. There's many places here that promote sports and health, and we've had people from all walks of life come on the show and discuss what an impact it does on them mentally and physically. So very, very happy about that. Very, very cool. We still got comments coming in. Almas saying, in regards to Naomi and other young ones, the older athletes on their way out need to respect and support young athletes coming up. You know, Almas, I don't think they need to respect. I think with experience comes maturity and comes awareness on mistakes that experienced athletes would have experienced. And I think that's when, you know, sometimes as a young athlete, you probably feel indispensable. There's no fear. It's something that you kind of do on your own. But I think when you get a little bit more mature and more experienced, you then tend to realize exactly what you might have done and how you could have come out of it in a positive light. And I think there has been, athletes from all around the world backing up Naomi Osaka. And I think that's the good thing. But it's also now regarding what step does she take. I think that's what's looking into it. Florin is saying, I was a little upset that Naomi withdrew, but totally understand. Yeah, I agree with that, Florin, 100%. Masoud saying, we see you browsing and playing the playlist. Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, here's some Masego for you. I like this tune. Tadao. Here you go.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
You know, it's not often you're going to say this, but I have the best listeners, man. During the break, we got Masoud and the whole crew sending messages in, and I think this is why I love what I do. So Masoud's like, let's do a rapid fire. Final segment, rapid fire. Normally I do that with my guests. So this time I'm the guest, and they're the hosts. And Almas, Masoud, Florin, Shakib, everyone here is actually sending in their rapid fire questions to actually go through this. So you know what? Off the cuff, we're just going to do it anyway, okay? So, Almas is saying, beef or chicken? Chicken, Almas. Adidas or Nike? Adidas. Chocolate or vanilla? That's a good one. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm not going to lie. Chocolate. Why did you leave London? Florin says. I was too comfortable in London. I needed a challenge. I needed an ambition, something to hit, and so that's why I left London. Henri or Bergkamp? Ooh, Shakib, that is a good one. I would say Dennis Bergkamp. People are gonna be like, what? Masoud, Messi or Ronaldo? I don't know, man. I don't like that question. Messi or Ronaldo? Ronaldo. New York or London? Easy. London. Coffee or tea? Coffee. Colorado or New York? You can get me trouble, Almas. Definitely Colorado. Qasim has just joined in. Almas, brownies or cookies? Now, Amnia's not here, so I'm going to say brownies. But if Amnia was here, I'd say cookies. Just to let you know. A couple of big stories actually coming in as we speak. So obviously Real Madrid have appointed Carlo Ancelotti as their new coach, which means Everton are without a manager, and Everton are considering Steven Gerrard or Rafa Benitez. And as for Naomi Osaka, which is what we spoke about today, the Grand Slam pledge meaningful improvements after Osaka withdrawal. So the Tennis Federation are trying to do something about it. I don't know. And the England squad has been announced as well. Speaking about that, athletics has brought me more than just medals. Olympic medalist Doyle retires from the game. Everyone's getting ready for the Euros. That's another thing. The boxing world obviously is still on fire. The Nets clinch series win against Celtics while Lakers face elimination. A couple of things happening there. Oh, the rapid fire is still going on. Paragliding or ice therapy? Reading or podcast? That's a very good question, Maria. Trust you to throw me right into it. Being an author, I would say reading. Not being an author, although there are also audiobooks as well, I would say audio is the way forward. So I listen to a lot of podcasts as well, and obviously we have our own podcast here on the Halftime Show, so I'm torn between two. Florin, why is Aaron Bissaka not in the squad? Florin, probably because they have 5 right backs already. And although I think he's one of the best defensive right backs, Trippier has the most experience with Kyle Walker. Trent Alexander-Arnold offers something new. You've got Reece James, who's the future. So overall, they've put themselves in it at the moment. So definitely, you know, I can understand why he hasn't included him, but it's kind of just unfortunate that England have some incredible right backs. Almas, Ford or Chevrolet? Ford all day. Ford all day. Those two, you got to say Ford. Florin, he's better than all of them. Defensively, I agree with you, Florin. He's excellent, especially his recovery. But I would say that Trippier was outstanding in the last World Cup. You know, you also got to bear that in mind. He was really good. Kyle Walker is Mr. Consistency. Trent Alexander-Arnold obviously offers you a lot going forward. And Reece James can play either the third centre-back or can play on the wing as well. So I think that's why they have been picked. I kind of see why they've done that. I just don't get why, some of the others. I think Greenwood withdrawing himself made it easier for Southgate to pick. But there's been a lot of criticism. I heard 3 hours yesterday of talk about the England squad and the drama behind it. You know, just let them go out and enjoy themselves. Almas is asking me, Field Maria or goalkeeper Maria? Field Maria. Field Maria is a baller. Definitely go for Field Maria. Shakib, Tony Adams or Patrick Vieira? Tony Adams, Shakib, because Tony Adams is the reason why I wear the number 6, actually. Patrick Vieira is a monster. Loved him. Absolutely loved Patrick Vieira. And I think now, the more these years go by, the more we realize that there will not be another Patrick Vieira out there. So yeah, but very good question, Shakib. You guys are really coming with this rapid fire. I kind of have a feeling that you guys all got together beforehand just to ask me these questions, but some really, really good rapid fire questions. That's why I say I have the best listeners. I do have the best listeners. The Halftime Show, I'm putting a campaign. Halftime Show, has the best listeners. I know Yalla Home, I know Future Talk, I know Afternoon Correct. They got some amazing listeners. But I think the Halftime Show, the listeners here have just set up a whole segment called the Rapid Fire and got me involved as the guest. Now that's when you know you got the best listeners. Okay, we are wrapping up full time on the Halftime Show. Where's the whistle at? There it is. And remember, you catch it every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 3 to 4. And if you do miss our show, don't worry. Head over to the podcast, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, or if you prefer a visual, Super Mario and Gabby, get us up on the YouTube, Pulse 95 Radio. Make sure you subscribe. We're up to, how many are we up to now? 1,000? Is it 1,000? Man, we got quite a few people now tuned into the YouTube, which is great. And Florin is saying Pogba could be Vieira, but the lack of discipline will keep him Pogba. Sorry, Florin. You know I love you, bro. You know, Florin, you're my guy, right? Pogba will never be Vieira, bro. Never. United fans, never. I'm gonna. Before we get into the controversy, Pogba will never be a Patrick Vieira. Don't get me started. I even snorted on air. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started. All right, guys. Florin is winding me up. Thank you very much, Masoud. You got the best one, Masoud. Great. Setting up that rapid fire as well. Fantastic. Guys, sending you peace, loving, and bless all out there to everyone who's tuned in. Love you guys so much, man. And I will see you guys same time, same place on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of the Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.